No good? Oh gosh. Good evening, everybody, and welcome into the Schaumburg Library, or the Schaumburg Library's Zoom. My name is Chris. I'm your Adult Programs Coordinator, and I'm so happy to be spending this evening with you guys as you guys get your Village update. Now, I obviously cannot give that to you. I actually don't even live in Schaumburg, so I'm extremely unhelpful in that regard. So I'm actually going to hand this over to someone who's going to know exactly all the things you're looking to know, and that would be Allison Albrecht. Oh my gosh, I tripped over it because my brain was like, don't say Albright. Albrecht.
Close enough.
Oh gosh.
You're good. You're good.
You'll say it again. Allison, who is your Director of Communications and Outreach with the Village. So Allison, take it away.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it.
Oh my gosh. My brain is all over the place. Sorry, I got so caught up with your name. Real quick, if you're at home, your mics and cameras have been turned off, but the Q&A is on. If you have any technical difficulties during today's presentation, please use that to reach out to me. You'll also use that function for Q&A, which we will handle at the end of the presentation. But if you have questions as we go along, make sure that you're putting those in the Q&A so you don't forget about them. For our in-person audience, we'll take questions at the end. Allison's going to remember to repeat questions for our at-home audience so that you can hear those, but I will be fielding your questions at-home audience. Also at-home audience, closed captions has been enabled for your convenience if you would like that. And for our in-person audience, if you wouldn't mind taking this time to silence your cell phones and any other electronic device that may make noise. Now over to Allison.
Well, thank you so much, Chris. I really appreciate it. And thank you to the library for having us again. As Chris said, my name is Allison Albrecht. I am the Director of Communications and Outreach for the Village of Schaumburg. We've started doing some of these presentations actually a few years ago now, just as a way to connect with various audiences in the community and just serve as a touch point for folks that live here. And if there's things that you're wondering about, things that you'd like to know a little bit more about, things maybe I don't touch on, come talk to me afterwards. I would love to get your feedback and make sure that these presentations are useful to you going forward. So as Chris said, I do have a bit of a PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to go through some slides and introduce quite a bit of information on a lot of different topics. So as he said, if you have any questions, again, the at-home audience, feel free to put those in the chat. For those of you right here, certainly we can have a little conversation at the very end of the presentation. But without further ado, I will get us started. And as I said, I'm going to cover a variety of different topics. So I'm just happy that you're here today joining us. So thank you. So first things first, I wanted to touch a little bit on Schaumburg's property tax levy, because obviously taxes are always of high concern amongst anybody who lives in Schaumburg, Cook County, Illinois, etc. Since 2009, the village has had a property tax levy that has been implemented. We've either maintained that levy or we've reduced it every year that we've had it since 2009. You'll notice since 2019, we've kept it the same. And that's actually what the village board is proposing to do actually at our next board meeting, which is next week, is proposing to keep that property tax levy maintained for yet another year. So that's going to keep us at 19.5 million. And basically what that means is that taxes paid in 2022 are going to be very similar to what you're going to pay in 2023. This is something that the board looks at very closely every year. We look at our financial outlook, making sure that, again, wherever we can ease the burden on taxpayers, that is a big priority for our elected officials. But certainly we do have things that are starting to go up in terms of our pension contributions. Our property tax levy does help fund our police and fire operations. So as with everything, as with inflation, everything is continuing to go up. But as I said, the board is very committed to trying to keep that as stable as possible. So this is proposed for next week to be approved, that we will keep that property tax levy maintained for the 2023 year. As a reminder too, that property taxes paid to the village make up about 6% of the total tax bill. So for those of you that are not familiar with that. One of the other things I wanted to touch on is that we've been looking at one of the goals of the village this past year has been doing a health services needs assessment. And basically what this is on the screen here is a QR code. So if you do have a smartphone and you'd like to take a quick picture of this, basically what the village is doing, we're looking to get input from our residents. We're looking to get a snapshot of the health and well-being of the services that we're providing right now. Are we doing a good job? Do we need to do more of something? We're trying to get that input from residents. So as of right now, we are looking for input from the community. Basically, this is going to help us better understand where we might need to make changes in our community in the future. So we do have the survey. It is going to be open until November 15th. So I would encourage you, if you haven't already, you can either scan this QR code or you can go to our website at schaumburg.com. We've got that survey front and center. So it's a brief survey, but there's a lot of great data that we're hoping to get from folks. So if you do have a chance, I would encourage you to take that survey by November 15th. Down the road, we will be analyzing that data and then making decisions in the future based on things that we may need to change. I wanted to talk a little bit about a couple of ongoing construction projects that you've probably seen around town. There's quite a few projects that are wrapping up kind of at the end of our construction season here, but two of the ones that I wanted to highlight, one is National Parkway. National Parkway has been closed from Gulf to American basically most of this past construction season. It's going to continue to stay closed, and then we're going to continue to kind of do some additional work in the spring of 2024. What we're working on there is we've actually constructed a culvert there. We're looking to do storm sewer relocations. There's going to be a roundabout that's going to be constructed next year at American Lane. So there's a lot of things kind of going on in that area. It's a bit of a mess right now, but we're hoping to kind of continue work on that for the next couple months here. We've got National Parkway from American Lane to Gulf Road is going to remain closed. We will continue improvements next year with that roundabout at National and American. Second project on the list here is another one that's kind of getting started, actually kind of got started earlier this year, is Rodenburg Road. You've probably already noticed, it's Irving Park to the village limits. It started this kind of earlier, late summer. We're doing adjacent work to the roadway right now. It's a joint project with the Village of Roselle. And we're doing a lot of installation of drains, infrastructure. We're going to continue that through the winter months. And then we're going to be doing a full reconstruction of Rodenburg Road. And that's going to take place beginning in the spring of next year. So Rodenburg Road is going to close from Irving Park to Travis Parkway. We're going to be installing new storm sewer there. We're going to be obviously replacing the roadway. We're going to be doing new 8-foot wide multi-use path that's going to be constructed on the east side of the road. Metro's going to do new railroad signals. So a lot of different work that's going to be happening in that area, but that's going to be a big project coming into next year, next spring. Again, a lot of side work is happening to kind of prepare for that right now. So minimal disruptions right now, but next spring, you're going to see a lot more activity in that area. So we'll certainly be coming out with a lot more information as that one kind of goes along. And of course, too, these are just a couple of projects that will be taking place over these next couple months and into spring. We will be kicking off our annual street improvement program and a lot of our annual street improvement programs kicking off next spring, April, May timeframe as well. So these are just a couple I'm highlighting because they're probably a little bit more noticeable, a little bit more messy, but they're some of the big projects that we needed to do, making a lot of really good improvements for the community. So we're really proud to kind of bring those to fruition. One of the other things, as we do capital infrastructure, we look at a lot of obviously roadways, bike paths. We also take a look at village facilities, actually any facilities that the village owns. So something that the village started doing back in 2021, we started studying a couple of, actually all of our facilities to determine what they were needing in terms of repairs, in terms of the costs involved in terms of making additional repairs or replacing aging facilities. So we started this really big study process back in 2021 to give us a better idea of what might need to come in the near future. So out of that study, we were using industry standard metrics, doing some calculations. What we came up with is that 2 of our buildings, which I have noted here, our municipal center at 101 Schaumburg Court, and our police department, our public safety building, which is at 1000 West Schaumburg Road. Both of these are, we're looking at undersized and inadequate facilities. Our municipal center was built in 1971, and our public safety building in 1975. So there's a lot of deficiencies with these buildings that we're looking at in terms of additional costs that are needed to maintain these older facilities. So it is now up to the board. We're taking a look at what might need to take place for the future to be able to continue to provide the services that we need to provide to the community and make sure that we have adequate building space to house those operations. So this past year, actually in 2023, we have architects, Williams Architects have been doing a phase 2 study on this, and they presented some options to the board. Our board kind of took a look at everything. Again, we're considering a lot of different options, but for right now, the decision has been made is that the board is looking at replacing the Village Municipal Center on the current grounds where it sits right now. And they're also looking at taking the police department and potentially relocating that from its current location. That location has not yet been decided yet. We're still kind of taking a look at some options. But the board is now kind of taking a look, now that we've got some direction that we provided to the consultants, the architects are kind of coming back and saying, okay, now what do we need to do with these 2 facilities based on the will of the board? So at this point, we're looking at some additional analysis, obviously refining some options of what could be for these 2 locations. We're looking at comparable facilities in other neighboring communities to see how they're laid out to get some additional ideas. So more to come on this, but this is a big project for the village in terms of capital improvements and infrastructure replacement coming up for some of these aging facilities. There we go. I also wanted to tell you a little bit about some of the new tools that we're introducing for anybody who's ever done any home improvement projects or deck replacements, new furnaces, swimming pool put in, fencing, any type of building repair type projects that you would typically do around your household. Almost always you need to obtain a permit from the village. There's a lot of processes that are involved. There's a lot of permits that are available for you to select from. So our staff has been looking at utilizing new permitting software that we just unveiled, I believe a couple months ago now. We started introducing this new permitting software. The idea is to streamline our process and make it a little bit easier for the folks at home when it comes time to do a repair. You're going to come to this new portal. You can see the status of your application. You can schedule inspections through this portal, and you can communicate directly with village staff through the portal. Before, it was a little bit more of a few different efforts that were involved. The idea behind this is to use new tools to make sure that we're able to work more efficiently with the public. So when they do have permits that are needed, they can go to this one-stop shop through this permitting portal, apply for whatever permit that they need. They can get direct communication on it. They can see the status of it at any time. So we officially launched this in September. We're starting out with a couple simple residential permits right now. We've got water heaters, furnaces, air conditioning, roof replacements. And the idea is that we're going to continue to add different types of permits to this as we go along in the process. So we're going to be adding additional permits into the system throughout the winter and into spring, so that hopefully by next year we'll have a lot more of that in place come time when a lot of people tend to pull permits for different things because it's nicer weather out. So we're really excited about the tool. We do think it's going to improve customer relations with the residents who live here. So I'm excited to kind of roll that out. So you can certainly go to our website, schaumburg.com, and check out the portal right now. If there's some, permits that you do need, obviously you can still utilize the other permit system for the other stuff that may not be available here just yet, but more is coming and we're very excited about that. I also wanted to talk a little bit about some of the exciting things that are coming to our village. Some things that we've just actually recently announced in some of our communications. We're still attracting a lot of really good development to Schaumburg, which is really exciting. The Schaumburg Tribune Company, they're going to start occupying 1000 Albion Avenue. This is the building that was previously owned by the Daily Herald. So this is right along, 390, the tollway is at the top there, and Wright Boulevard is on the right here. So this property is now going to be owned by the Chicago Tribune. They're going to be moving their printing and packaging operations to this site. So they're moving it from downtown, coming to Schaumburg. They're going to be bringing 150 full-time employees to the location. It's a $2 million investment to this piece of property. And not only are they bringing that to this area, but they're also looking to construct an additional 83,000 square foot facility kind of adjacent to this development as well. Right now, they're looking at potentially it could be used by the Chicago Tribune, or they may lease it to an industrial user. This is going to potentially be another $10 million in investment to this property, and they may be bringing another 50 to 100 jobs into that location as well. So this bodes very well for Schaumburg. We love to see different businesses attracted to our community. Obviously, it brings tax revenues to the village and to our operations. So this is a great get for the Village of Schaumburg. We're really excited about it. Another one that's equally, if not even more exciting, is that we have a new outpatient center that is going to be brought to us by Lurie's Children's Hospital. This is going to be a new outpatient center located at 1994 North Roselle Road. So we've got it's actually going to be Lurie's first ground up build since the completion of the main hospital in 2012. So they've selected Schaumburg as their site. This is kind of a conceptual drawing of what it will look like. This is a $60+ million investment in Schaumburg. It's going to be giving our area, and basically Schaumburg and the region, access to additional pediatric health care in Schaumburg. There's going to be pediatric specialty services at this location. There's also going to be therapeutic and rehabilitation, diagnostic, imaging services. So a wide array of healthcare services at this facility. So it's a really good investment for the community, and we're very excited to have such a big reputable name, which is Lurie Children's, building here in Schaumburg. The first year, they're looking to host approximately, they said, 60,000 patient visits, and the site is anticipated to employ about 85 full-time employees. So it's a really good development that we're looking forward to. This just got approval. So it's going to be in the making. It's going to take a little bit of time, but we're certainly very excited to see that happening at the north end of town. Speaking of the north end of town, for anybody who's ever attended one of my presentations before, I probably talked a little bit about the 90 North area. 90 North is what we refer to as the Motorola Solutions former campus. That is being transformed through a number of different endeavors to bring in new development in terms of retail, office, housing. Some of that's already taking place out there. We're talking about the area north of 90. One of the things that's located out there is the 90 North Park. It's actually located just west of Bowler and kind of east of Topgolf there. It's kind of nestled right into that Motorola campus there, former campus. We just approved phase 2 of construction on the park. So right in the area that's kind of shaded. It's the northwest area, since this is kind of turned lopsided, sorry about that. Northwest area of the park is phase 2 construction that is set to begin next spring. And basically the idea of this entire park, and when I say park, I'm talking, I think Millennium Park. We're talking big space, right? Passive recreation, not what you think like where you bring your kids to go on the slides and swings and stuff. This is a much bigger space. This is 12 acres of land right here. It's meant to bring people together. Now, again, because we've got different apartments that are being built to the north, and then also to the east, and actually to the west as well. So there's a lot of housing that's actually going in. I think there's already been more than 1,000 units put into this north area of town. We've got different office buildings that have come in. Top Golf has come in. We're looking at the district area, which is along Meacham, is going to be just east of here. That is going to look at different retail opportunities, a lot of different nightlife opportunities, a lot of fun stuff for this area. We're really thinking big on this. So the park is one element of the larger space. But this phase 2 is really exciting too, because it's going to feature, we've got a water feature plaza and a tilted lawn zone. So it's going to have a water plaza with a stepped waterfall. It's going to have Mr. Plazas. There's going to be lighting effects. Places for people to gather and picnic. People can stroll through there, they can walk, they can take their bikes through there. There's going to be a bioswale with 2 pedestrian bridges. So a lot of exciting, really cool stuff that is planned for that area. We're really excited about that. And then we're also looking at, oh yeah, the pointer, I got the pointer going. All right, so we're also looking at, on the very bottom here, this is the west side of the property. We're going to be doing construction of this future shared street. Right now it doesn't really exist, but we're starting to put in some of the additional infrastructure that's going to be needed to border that area. That shared street is going to introduce parking for this area. It's going to introduce opportunities for future programming. It's going to be kind of a, where the park meets the roadway. It could be used for events and additional programming of that nature. So a lot of exciting stuff that will also be kicking off next spring when this phase 2 is kicking off. So going to be a lot of activity happening in this area as well. Additionally, always like to talk about some of the new businesses that have opened up recently. We've got Majestic's Barbershop. They're offering a wide variety of services for everyone on Salem Drive. We've got Nat 2 Restaurant and Bar, basically a cultural journey through South India. So offering a lot of different cuisine for a lot of our different diverse folks in our area. So that's really exciting. We've got Bluebird Bobalicious, which is fun to say. It's a new restaurant serving healthy shakes, protein bowls, energy drinks, protein waffles, and more for the health conscious folks in our area. We've got 315 Poke and Ramen. It's renovated into a modern eatery. It serves fresh poke bowls, delicious ramen, variety of flavors, and appetizers as well. And Mokinut on Gulf Road, they're serving different donuts that originated in Hawaii. And they also have a combination of American donuts and Japanese mochi. So a lot of different things kind of going on in that place as well. Also have Chai Tea, which is offering different original dishes and in-house made dishes. They're best known for their award-winning Big Bird sandwich, which is a Nashville-style hot chicken, which is apparently all the rage these days, the hot chicken sandwiches. So supposedly very good as well. And then we also have Kitty Academy. It's an early learning center. They have a lot of amenities, a sprawling 7,000 square foot playground with turf and top of the line equipment. They just opened recently on Higgins Road. So that was exciting because that was a long time in the making to get that one constructed and finished. So these are some of the recently opened businesses that just came to town. In addition, obviously with the holidays coming up, some things that are going on over at Woodfield. Primark just opened, our international clothing retailer. They went into the former Sears space. They just had their grand opening, I believe it was a couple weeks ago now. We're looking at Bohm, Trend Forward Women's Clothing, Earthbound Trading Company, which sells unique gifts, clothing, and crystals. And then Carter's Oshkosh B'gosh, doing baby, toddler, and children's clothing as well. We've got a few things coming soon. Actually, Radio Flyer, their first brick and mortar location in more than a century, is going to be right here in Schaumburg at Woodfield, opening tomorrow. So we're excited about that one, just in time for the holidays. We also have Velocity Esports, which is going to be esports and arcade gaming. Perfumania, which is a fragrance retailer. And then we've got Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen, which is obviously chicken. So I don't think I need to explain that one all too much. And you can tell I'm probably hungry too. So I'm like thinking about that right now. So a lot of great places. This is all happening over in Woodfield. And even tonight, I believe Santa is being welcomed. So we're kicking off the Santa holiday season at Woodfield as well. So as far as Woodfield is going, a lot of great development is happening within. A lot of big names that are coming to Woodfield, so we're very excited about that. And like I said, we've got some unique locations like Radio Flyer, which, again, you can't find that anywhere else. So I think Woodfield and Simon's doing a great job in terms of making sure that we bring unique experiences to the mall. And I think a lot of people are welcoming that with open arms. So we're very excited for these new ones that have just opened and some of the ones that are coming soon. Additional coming soon outside of Woodfield Mall, Valvoline Instant Oil Change is going to be near the corner of Wise and Irving Park Roads. Outback Steakhouse, I know someone was asking about that one. New development at the southeast corner of Gulf and Meacham. This is actually serving as a replacement location for the current restaurant on Gulf. They're investing nearly $2.5 million in this location, so we're excited to kind of reinvest them back in the community. We've got June-Boo Market. They're opening a new location in Schaumburg. They're actually replacing the old Toys R Us business. June-Boo Market was founded in 1992. They offer authentic Korean and Pan-Asian fresh products, so we're excited to welcome them to the community. We're also looking at kind of a twofold here, McAllister's Deli and Tropical Smoothie Cafe. They both have the same address. That's not a mistake. They're renovating the former Fuddruckers business there, and both of them are going to be going in there. McAllister's Deli, they do handcrafted sandwiches, sweet tea, and of course they have their giant spuds. Tropical Smoothie Cafe is also going to join them in that location, so they're going to be the healthy arm of that side of the building. And I believe both of those locations are anticipated to open in January, mid-January, give or take. So very excited to welcome those to Schaumburg as well. We also have Dave & Buster's at Martingale Road. So this is the new location for them going into the streets of Woodfield. They're replacing the old GameWorks business. They're investing nearly $7 million in renovations, and they are scheduled to open in spring of 2024. So that's going to be a really fun, really good replacement there to kind of fill out that old GameWorks facility. And then finally, we have Steinhafels on Gulf Road. This is a new location, furniture store, and this will be going into the Bed Bath & Beyond location. So very excited to welcome them. I do not have an opening date yet for them just yet, but we're looking forward to all of these kind of coming online fairly soon. So all of this information, a lot of the stuff in here, certainly you can find in our e-newsletter. If you don't get our weekly progress report e-newsletter, I would suggest you sign up. I'll have some information at the end of the presentation for you to check out, but certainly we do a lot of our developments and a lot of our news in terms of new openings and coming soon businesses in our e-newsletter on a weekly basis. So certainly you'll find out more of some of these in that e-newsletter. We also kicking off, like as I mentioned, Santa's already coming to Woodfield Mall, so the holidays are basically just right around the corner. So a couple things going on coming up that I wanted to highlight. We've got Step Africa coming to our Prairie Center for the Arts. We're trying to offer a lot of diverse programming. We do have a very diverse community. We're very proud of that. And so we want to make sure that we're offering a variety of programming that speaks to everybody, making sure that we're welcoming, we're very inclusive. So Step Africa is going to do percussive dance styles by historically African American fraternities and sororities. It's going to be pretty awesome, so very excited about that, and it is happening tomorrow. So still tickets available if you'd like to check that out. I also should have probably added to this list, November 11th is Veterans Day, this Saturday. So we do have our Veterans event occurring right here, right in Town Square. I'm probably pointing the wrong way, but right here at Veterans Gateway Park. At 10:30 on Saturday. So this is something that our VFW Post 2202 is doing. Our police and fire departments will be assisting with Honor Guard. Obviously, we're always thankful for our veterans and the service that they provide to our country. So certainly if you have time to check, to come on by and recognize, I think that'd be great. So that's November 11th, this Saturday, right here in Town Square. November 26th, we will be welcoming Santa. We're going to borrow him from the mall for a second and have him come to our tree lighting ceremony. This year, we're really excited. We've been watching all week. We've got our brand new tree that's going up in our plaza right now next to the Municipal Center and our Prairie Center. It is a lot bigger than what it used to be. So it's very exciting. It's very cool looking. We've got some new decorations that are also in the plaza area as well. So Santa's going to arrive for the tree lighting ceremony. This is a free event that we put on for the community. So if you have young ones or old ones and anybody who loves the Christmas spirit, certainly we want you to come on out and enjoy. There'll be choral singing. There's Santa coming on the fire truck. There's character appearances. There's photos. We're also encouraging you to bring, if you do come, the event itself is free, but please bring a non-perishable food item. We're trying to collect items to go to the food pantry right here in Schaumburg Township, help our local community. So certainly if you can bring something for others, that would be a big help. So we appreciate that.
It's November 24th, so the day after Thanksgiving.
Oh, my bad. November 24th. Thank you, Josie. So November 24th, tree lighting ceremony. Thank you. November 30th, hopefully I've got this one right. November 30th through December 10th, we've got the Nutcracker going on, one of our favorites that we like to provide during the holidays. This is happening over at our Prairie Center. This features a cast of over 100 performers. The shows do sell out quickly, so I would encourage you to get your tickets at prairiecenter.org. Make sure you get those sooner rather than later. And then finally, we have on December 16th, our Presto Holiday Concert. So if you're more of a fan of the youth orchestra, we've got some great choral programs coming together with the youth orchestra. It's going to be a great concert. So a lot of great holiday favorites coming up at our Prairie Center that we're very excited about. So come on out. I also wanted to point out our Prairie Center is excited to, speaking of the holidays, we're bringing back our holiday ornament. We haven't done this since 2019. This is our first one that we've done, and we're recognizing Septemberfest. I just saw the ornaments. They were just dropped off today. So we now have them in possession. So you are able to order these. These are great gifts. They're great keepsakes. If you've attended Septemberfest in the past, it's a favorite of yours. This will be a great one for the holiday tree. We're excited about this. This costs $20, and it can be purchased in person at the Prairie Center, or you can order it online. You can also order some select previous ornaments as well if we do have them still in stock. So we're very excited to bring this back for folks who like to decorate their trees. And obviously, holidays will always bring probably a little bit of snow, although I'm kind of hoping we get another easy year, but might not be the case. I keep hearing El Nino, I think, is going to be out to get us, perhaps. But if that is the case, I can assure you we are prepared. Our snow and ice teams at our Public Works facility, we just did, actually in October, we just did our annual inspection of all of our equipment, something that we do every year just to make sure all the equipment, all the frontline things that we use to keep those roads safe, that they're working properly. What I'm showing you here is a tool that we do use. I was talking a little bit about the technology earlier. This is another piece of technology that we deploy every year. It's called our SnowStat map. It is available at schaumburg.com. And basically what this does is anytime that snow command goes into effect, when we start having, some decent snow, some weather that basically calls our people out and we start salting those roads, or we're plowing, or we're doing both, we are putting out information about where the trucks are at, where you can find them basically in their operation. So we often will get a lot of folks who will call into the village, or they'll email and they'll say, I haven't seen a plow in 24 days. That's a bit of an exaggeration, but we do get people who wonder where the plows are at, right? Well, you don't have to wonder anymore. We are telling you front and center. And it's just a great tool too. So you can kind of see where we're at with things, because anytime that we have a significant snow event, our people are watching those snow forecasts around. We're watching those days in advance. We have emergency crews that get prepped. We get the crews prepped. We are 24/7 operation, so we don't stop for the evenings, for the overnight, for the holidays. We are at it all the time. So this SnowStat map is really helpful because it can take, you can take a look at this at any time you'd like and kind of punch in your address, see where things are at. It's a great tool. It kind of cuts down on some of the inquiries to us sometimes, and it just gives you more knowledge for your purposes. And so what you can find out on this map is general information about our snow removal operations, the number and location of trucks in operation. Sometimes we have a full call out, which is like 20 some crews that are out, and sometimes it's just 6 trucks. It depends on the nature and what's going on. You can check on the status of removal operations, the type of truck that's assigned to a route, and any activity history for that entire snow operation. Because keep in mind, even though like something starts maybe at 6 o'clock and maybe ends the next day, we're making multiple passes on all of those roadways. So, it's not for the faint of heart. It's a hard job that our crews are out there trying to get those streets cleared and cleaned up. So, and they continue on long after the snow stops. So this map will still be working even after the snowfall stops. So if you haven't checked it out, it's a great tool, and certainly I wanted to share that with you, hopefully prior to any snow flying. But we've actually already had a snow command on Halloween already, so we're in action. So this map will only be activated when snow command is activated. And I should also mention that this map only applies to village maintained roadways. So this will not capture county and state work. This is just Village of Schaumburg roads that are being cleared. And why is that? Leads me to my next slide, is that as a reminder, we also get a lot of questions from people who will call in and tell us that Schaumburg Road is a mess, or Gulf Road is a mess, or Roselle Road is terrible. Well, sorry, but sometimes we can't do anything about that because they're not agencies. We have other agencies that work in tandem with the Village of Schaumburg. So there's a lot of different agencies that are responsible for different roadways. Some of them are most of our major thoroughfares through our village. So it's just something we like to point out, just to remind folks too, that when you're talking about certain streets, we have to be reminded that they don't all fall under the Village of Schaumburg just because they're located in the Village of Schaumburg. So what we can do though, is that we do take that information and we will be in contact with those other agencies to refer information or to let them know, listen, we're getting a lot of inquiries, can we please try to step it up? And so we do try to work with some of the other agencies to make sure that they're also doing their part on their roadways. So we work in tandem on that. But just wanted to bring that up because we do get a lot of questions on that as well, in terms of how come you haven't done this road yet? And it just turns out it's not our road. So we do what we can on our roads and to keep those safe. And we have to rely on some of the other agencies to do theirs as well. So But now that I've told you all this, hopefully we won't get any snow for the season, and maybe it'll be a moot point. So that's my hope anyway. I also wanted to point out a little bit about nursing and senior services. Just a reminder that we have a lot of great services offered in Schaumburg for our senior community. Not a lot of folks may remember or pay attention to some of these things, but certainly the holidays, it's dark all the time now. Going back to that health and wellness of our community, we've got a lot of seniors that may be isolated, right? They may not be able to get out and take part in social interaction with other people. So we want to make sure that we're providing a lot of different programming so that our senior community can make sure that they're included, make sure that they have different outlets that they can take advantage of. So our senior barn, which is actually a barn, is located here in Schaumburg, offers a ton of different really great programming. If you have a loved one, or if you're a loved one that needs some additional TLC and would like to take part in some of these programs, I highly encourage it. This is just a snapshot of some of the things that are done, but they offer a lot of different things for our seniors to take advantage of. So certainly you can give us a call at the Village. You can go on our website to take a look at some of that programming. It's a great resource for our community. One of the programs that we're actually trying to promote a little bit is a newer program called Oasis program. Basically, it stands for Older Adult Services in Schaumburg. We're trying to, again, going back to since the pandemic, again, a lot more, I think, of society has been a little bit more isolated from one another, our seniors especially. So we're looking at different ways in which we can bridge some of those gaps. The Oasis program, we're looking at just a program where we're able to set up people to volunteer to make different phone calls to seniors that perhaps are a part of the program and would like to have that correspondence. We're also looking, we're looking for volunteers to make those phone calls, and we're also looking for recipients, people who just might need those phone calls, just those check-ins, maybe some daily conversation, something to help them, kind of get through their day sometimes. So this is a great program that we just started promoting. It's something we're looking to get more participation in. And certainly, again, we're starting as a phone call program, but certainly if we get people and perhaps a relationship is formed, it could turn into an in-person visiting type program. So it's just a nice thing that we're starting to do. Again, keeping our senior population in mind and making sure that the health and well-being is front and center. So if you're interested in this program at all, certainly you can give us a call at the Village. We'll be able to set you up with the supervisor who's looking for recipients or volunteers. We'd be happy to get you in touch with those folks. And as I mentioned at the very beginning, I'm throwing out a lot of different information about a lot of different things. I don't imagine you'd want to remember all of this. I hope you do. But certainly I'm a staff member of the Village, so I don't make policy, right? I don't I don't make the decisions, right? That's our elected officials. That's the Village board that you all elect when you go to vote. So there are different meeting opportunities. I'm here kind of promoting the things that we're doing at the Village as a touch point, but there are many different touch points that you can have with the Village. One of those is Coffee with the Council. It's the second Saturday of each month, and this is a great opportunity if you want to ask, you have a complaint, you have an issue, you want to press a concern and talk to elected officials. That's a great place to do it, because then you're not getting me as a staff member, you're getting your elected official. You'll get, the folks that represent you. So it's a great place to kind of pose different questions, maybe concerns that you might have, or just ask general questions, or it could be just to praise some of the services that we've got. So Coffee with the Council, second Saturday of every month, held in our police community room. Second one is Chat with the Brass. It's the third Thursday of each month at 6 p.m. It's offered via Zoom. And this is a great one if you have questions pertaining to the police department. So maybe there's some trends that are going on that you want to learn more about. Maybe there's some safety concerns that you might have, maybe in your neighborhood. Maybe you want to find out, what's going on in your neighborhood. What are things I need to look out for, or what do you need us to do as residents to be a safer community? Or maybe you have general questions about something that happened with a member of the police department. This is a great place to go and direct those concerns to members of the command staff, so our deputy chiefs and some of our higher ranking personnel in police, so they can get those addressed for you. So just a couple different touch points in which you can interact with the village. And finally, as I mentioned a couple different times, a lot of the information that I provided this evening is available on our website, schaumburg.com. We put a lot of information there, so we want you to stay in touch. We do have, for those of you, obviously our residents, hopefully you're familiar with our quarterly publication of the Cracker Barrel. We actually just finished the winter Cracker Barrel. It is at the printer right now, so you should be seeing that in hopefully the next week or two, delivered to your mailbox. We also, as I mentioned previously, we have our e-newsletter, the Progress Report, that comes out every Friday morning. The nice thing about that is you don't have to wait every quarter to get your information. So if you want to get it delivered right to your inbox, the Progress Report is a great way to get that. So I put a QR code to our newsletters as well as a link there to access some of those. And in addition to the Progress Report, we actually also have some additional e-newsletters. We have a crime prevention newsletter. We have a senior newsletter. So there's a lot of different newsletters in addition to the Progress Report. So I invite you to check some of those out so you can be informed on just about everything. For those of you who like social media, these are some of the different platforms that we are engaged with on a regular basis. And then finally, I mentioned a couple different times, and you've probably seen in a few different places, that you can dial 311 in the village to be connected with our customer care center. Or you can dial 847-895-4500. That's our main general line. We'll also get you to the customer care center. So we've had some questions in the past that sometimes when people dial 311, it doesn't go there. So dial the 847 number if you have issues with 311. Sometimes, depending on where you're located and where the cell phone tower picks up, it may not get you to our 311, so I wanted to provide our general number as well. Both will get you to the same place. And lastly, if you see an issue in town that needs to be addressed, say there's a pothole that needs to be fixed or something that needs to be addressed by one of our departments, we're a big village. We're 78,000 plus, and we have a lot of square miles. So it's difficult for us to see everywhere that might need addressing. So if there's something you see, give us a call, dial 311, or you can go online and submit a customer service request. We call those CSRs. Basically, it's a ticket that you put in, and it will get directed. It creates a point of contact. It will get directed to our department that needs to address it. They have a certain time period in which they have to complete that, or they need to communicate with you what's going on with it. So it's our way to make sure things get done in the village. And I can't stress that enough, even though we're on social media, and perhaps some of you are familiar with Everything Schaumburg, which is run by the Daily Herald on Facebook. People like to maybe put their inquiries on Everything Schaumburg, and they like to kind of report things that need to get addressed on Everything Schaumburg. Okay, well, that's great for your neighbors to see it, but please direct it our way because we want to address them for you, right? I'd much rather have you call our 311 or submit a CSR. We can get that information and we can actually do something about it. So we would much rather it kind of go through those channels so that we can get those things fixed for you. So with that being said, I wanted to just thank you for your time. And at this point, I'm kind of done with my spiel here in terms of my presentation, but I did want to open it up for any questions. So I know for the at-home audience, you're going to be selecting, doing some stuff through the chat. So if you have questions, yes?
I already got a question for you if you're ready.
All right, sweet. So for the at-home audience, go ahead, put your questions in the chat. And then we'll take a couple of those first, and then if anybody here has questions, I will certainly take those as well. So go ahead on the online.
Can you identify what is replacing the former at-home location next to Costco on Meacham? Also, the same question regarding the former Macy's furniture store across from there.
Okay. So the question is, let me see if I repeat this right back. So you're wanting to know what is going into the old at-home space.
Yes.
So the old at-home space, so that's right by Costco. Dooley is planning on investing $56 million into a new medical office building there. They started construction on it, and I'm told that they're going to be resuming that fairly soon. So that is number one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then the second question, I believe, if I have that right, excuse me, the old Macy's.
Across the street from that location. Yes.
Okay, perfect. What is going into the old Macy's location? So we actually do have a variety of restaurants, and retail is supposed to go into the old Macy's building. It's going to be a 5-building development. I believe it's called the Crossroads of Schaumburg. It's actually scheduled to go to our Zoning Board of Appeals in early 2024. So we're still a little ways away. It's a bigger development, but 5 things are scheduled to go into that location. So we're in the middle of kind of figuring that out at the moment. So we do have plans for that location as well.
Now, what road was that on?
The old Macy's one, that is on Golf. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Hopefully I got both of those. Perfect. All right, question in the audience.
I just want to say that if you do CSR, like about your neighbor, you want to complain about them, you can do it anonymously.
So just to repeat for our at-home folks, one of our members in the audience, thank you, Bobby, pointed out if you have an instance where you need to report something that may be going on with a neighbor, you can actually submit a customer service request, that CSR that I talked about. You can actually do that anonymously. So again, it's a tool for us to determine if we need to address something. So if something is going on, maybe it's a code enforcement thing, or maybe it might be an issue that the village needs to look into, you're able to go ahead and submit those anonymously too. So that is another feature of our customer service request system. So thank you. Go ahead.
You were talking about the new permit portal, and there's a lot of new homeowners coming into town.
Yes.
And they don't know that they're supposed to have permits. So when they close, or can a letter go out to a new homeowner, tell them all the things that they need permits for, so they don't build a fence that is incorrect, and then the neighbors have to tell them, they have to take it out, and then you report it. And
right, becomes a whole thing.
It's terrible.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good point. So for the at-home audience, a point was made that, perhaps we should look into some different communication about when new homeowners come into town. They're not always aware of all the permits that need to be filled out for certain things. So that is something we are trying to address with people who do move into the community. I'm trying to communicate that a little bit better about the types of permits. I mean, there's a lot of permits, there really are. And there's a lot of things, we do that not to be difficult, but it's for safety reasons. We want to make sure things are done correctly, up to code. There's a lot of safety elements that we look at. So that is a lot of the reasoning behind the permits that we do have. But I mean, I think that's a valid point of, I would have to check with our community development department to see what kind of communication we do for new homeowners moving in. But at the very least, it may be something we take note of and we're able to kind of even put into some of our other communications, because I think from time, even people who have been here for a while and maybe just haven't had a project may forget like what might require a permit. So I think that's a good point. Yeah. Go ahead.
I can say that the 311, that works well too,
Yeah.
but also the customer service request. I put 2 in and I had responses within 24 hours. I think that's phenomenal, because it is. And my question is, Is it obvious on the website where the snow map is, like the location?
So it is under our public works. So right now, so usually what happens is we'll put stuff on. So the question was, sorry, I'm going to go back to the at-home, for our at-home folks. The question was, is it obvious where the snow map is located on our website? Right now, probably not, because we haven't had any weather. It's been 60 degrees. But when we start getting to the point where where we think we're gonna have weather, we start putting that on the homepage of the website. So we will make that front and center as we start getting into that nasty weather. Knock on wood, we haven't had to do that just yet, but we will definitely do that. But certainly you can actually put in the search snowstat, and that'll come up, or it's under our engineering and public works, because basically our crews take care of that. So, but we will move that to the home page of the website, so it'll be right in your face once we get a little bit colder weather. So.
We have an online question. Can you talk about resources that the village has to help those who are struggling with homelessness or other financial issues of that?
Sure. Okay. So we do have, so we do have social services through our police department. That is probably a good avenue to start. We're actually, in our police department, we're looking at, we're actually changing the way we service the community. We're looking at more of mental health issues, people that may need some additional resources that fall outside of traditional help when police assistance is called. So when folks fall on hard times, or perhaps there may be some mental health challenges that are going on, we want them to kind of start with our social services. We do have a quality of life division, which is a new division with our police department. We have trained social service therapists. We have folks that can point. They have good relationships with the Kenneth Young Center, a lot of other agencies in the area that do assist with mental health, with homelessness, pad shelters, things of that nature. I specifically don't have a lot of the details on that, but I can certainly get any individual a little bit more information on that. But I would say if someone does have questions about like where to start, go to our police department and check in with our social services unit. We have information on our website also related to that. There's counseling services as well that comes through that department. They tend to kind of go on a lot of different calls where they see people who may need assistance in a variety of different ways. So we as a police department and as a village are looking at different ways of how can we help people better and more, right? I think there's a lot of needs out there that, I think things are tough for a lot of people, right? And so I think it's really important that we're trying to make sure, as I talked about earlier, through that health services assessment, we're looking at the well-being of our community and what can we do to make sure that Schaumburg is still a great place to be no matter what you got going on, right? If you need some help, contact the police department, contact the social services unit. They will put you in touch with the correct resources. So hope that helps. Question here in the audience?
Division on Schaumburg Road is a good resource too.
Yes, that's a great point. So someone in the audience just pointed out that another great resource, I touched a little bit on it with some of our senior service programming, but our nursing division is also very helpful too. So if and they're talking about people that may need physical assistance or in care kind of needs, in-home needs. Our nursing division is also very helpful as well. And that's something actually that a lot of communities don't have. So we're very fortunate to have a division like that is dedicated to that cause. So certainly, take a look at that as well. Any other questions coming in? Any other questions, online audience? If you have any other questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them. Feel free to put it in the chat. Any other questions from our in-person audience as well? Perfect. Well, again, I wanted to thank you so much for those of you that came out, whether it's online or in person. I appreciate your time. I know you could be watching the Bears game right now, and although I don't know why you'd want to, but I'm just happy that you had a chance to kind of connect with me. If you have any other questions that you didn't feel comfortable talking about with the audience, you know, I will be here. I have cards up here as well, and certainly my information's on the website as well. So if you ever need to reach out or just get in touch, the whole point of this was to get a touch point with the community. So I hope I provided you with a little bit of information, perhaps maybe you didn't know or were just interested about. And if I didn't cover it, shoot me an email, give me a call. I'd be happy to follow up afterwards. And thank you again for your time. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay. All right.